Hello, this is Gerald Theo van Was. In this video I will provide you with some associations that makes it easier to understand the combinations with the letter E as a vowel, how they are placed in the environment and how we think with them as placements, and how it is also used in the katakana characters, which uses combinations of the letter E with some consonant, and you can really recognize what they are doing, what is expressed in there, and these expressions are used in words and I will keep it to the English words mostly, not to the Japanese ones, but you can put some remarks there in how much it is indeed useful to understand Japanese or not. Just let me know. And let's see what we have. We'll first take a closer look to our foundation. So our foundation is our way of how we orientate ourselves to the world. And we have an order in the letters, which is not just numerical, but it's also in physical. It's also related with how we perceive things in space first of all. So things that are very close by, we associate with how we associate them in space as objects. That's where the letter A appears. These are the locally perceived elements that are described with 9 letters, A, T, K, U, L, B, C, and X. And if we are more approaching towards what is changing and so on, we use other letters. We have there 9 letters proposed there. The A, which is there, the O is there, for instance. And then the last category is what is in the environment. It's the more global repetitions, so that things that are not just repeated once, so that we see, okay, it's going to somewhere else, but it's really repeatable and it's interchangeable, it's useful in a more general sense. These are the 3 regions. The katakana script, like the Japanese and Chinese scripts, are only focused upon the script itself, that is focused into this green area, the adaptation to the new moment, to the changes and so on. So there is a certain timing involved and an adaptation involved, which is like almost like going one step forward and taking a step back, so that you do the things that are needed. This movement forward and taking back is everywhere in the script. But first, just in the background, we have these vowels. So the E is what is applied directly into a global sense. The A is what is evolving towards something. The O is that thing where it evolved to in the environment. The A are the stable positions from the Roman script. These are some of the positions. In the background you can still see the Y, which is also trying to reach the E at the end, the global sense in the end, even if it doesn't know how that works. These are the associations with the vowels of spaces, actually, of orientations in spaces that are close by, in movement, or in a more repetitive, changeable sense. These are in the Roman script. But we're going to compare the letter E to the katakana script and the combinations with it. So here's the E letter. The E is, of course, on the timing position. So we have our position and the other's position, and all the letters are about that communication toward that other position. Here it also is related there, and that's how we associate it from there, and there we will describe what it means. The E as the Roman letter is in the third category, so if I have to put them 3 times as well, so they are working in the background and they are repeated. There are placements in association with positions, and so we try to find a placement, always the placement before our eyes, and try to see that as quick as possible. The E in the katakana script is in the relationship, what we need to do for it. And what do we need to do for it to achieve something that is repeatable? That is, because that's the idea, it is repeatable, and there's something else. There is an idea that we want to apply somewhere else. It's the placement itself, as we had it in A, is no longer applicable. We want to have a placement that we can use everywhere. So we need a kind of displacement. It will have to move and be movable to anywhere else, and we focus on it somewhere else, and we use a displacement, a focus point of reference, where we also know that we need to adapt. That idea of going forward to a different position is not enough. We also need to take a step back towards the place and the needs of that moment. And what are the needs? These needs can be compared to putting a nail into a position or a pole into a position, and we put it there. We have an action, we take that as a reference point, we step towards that new gravity point. That reference point is also a gravity point. A gravity point, when we jump towards that, we can't jump to conclusions, because we also need to adapt a little bit. If we make a jump towards somewhere, there is some force also that will take us slightly out of balance, so we have to sense where this new balance is again in balance, where the center of gravity is strong. And that's the way of thinking that lies behind it, and that also is expressed in that katakana letter script character. So we jump to the reference point, where there is also a certain pull to take us out of balance, but when we focus on the center of gravity, we will be able to sense what is needed. In the Roman sense, we have the E 3 times, is the idea itself, the initiational idea, where we will have an expectation and see if it matches what we already have before us. And then, only by repetition, we will see if that is indeed the same thing, if it's also elsewhere. That is the kind of idea in 3 steps that makes us realizable, makes us realize if it is realizable. That's what I wanted to say. In the Japanese script, it is in the force in 2 times. There is a position, and it will have to have an adaptation, and we have that also in this. So it is this adaptation process, and then the center point of attention, that when it's at the right space, it will not. It will have had its adaptation as well. So when you know very well where the gravity point lies and we adapt to it, it will work just fine. So for both systems, the system in 2 parts, like the Japanese in the Japanese script it is in 2 parts. It's the movement, it's in the timing process, it's our vision, and then the other vision, and there's an adaptation process. Is comparable to the Roman script, in which the letter E is in the 3 parts, where we compare the expectation to where the things are repeated. So these are the positions that are needed to show the general rules and the rightful application. These are helpful tools to make you also understand, and it works in the background, but that's how we focus on these letters. The E, according to the theory, is then the vertical, which is taken down and which can be applied on all spaces, in all places in the same way. So it is here in 3 times. So you can adapt it towards the course of things, towards the change of things. So from A, the normal rule, to E, the new position. From the expectation towards the point of repetition, it should be stable. And when it's stable, we have something that can be applied anywhere. That's the idea of E. Here is this Roman letter E again. So after the test 3 times, the idea to see where we have it and to see where we can repeat it, you know how the idea of or E will work. Okay, when will this be needed? When will there be a new idea that can be applied somewhere? So we have a stable situation before us, but maybe we can use it somewhere else, we can do it somewhere else, we can apply it somewhere else, maybe it can be repeated elsewhere. From our position, which is in the Roman script from a stable, passive stability, we try to focus on what is as real, as physical as possible, A, but the E is a repeatable thing. So there are some rules to make it work. We don't see that immediately, but there are some rules to make it work. How do we sense that what is needed to change, and how do we need to adapt? And that's the next combination of letters, this question mark of in E, where shall we need to where is the need to adapt? And how do we do that? That is expressed in the first combination of letters with E. It is ki, and ki, for ki in the Japanese sense, we no longer use the passive vision of what is before us. No, we move towards the change. E is something that is already further away. It is about change. We need to be an active person, being able to adapt towards changes. And we move forward with our thought here as well. We move forward, and we also, or just with our finger, we show, we check what's going on and what we need to change. We move forward, and we collect, we will try to collect it, what we need to have. So we point with our finger or with our thought towards the point that we need to make a breakthrough. Again, in 2 positions, so it's initial intention and the point of reach. In the end, we break through the barrier and go towards that new point of reference. With the Roman letter, we use the K, and where is the K in the system of my letters? There are 3 regions of letters. The first region of letters is about space. The first, I show them to you. So the K is in the first category, is in space. It's there in the blue category. So it is in the region before you. So it is in the direct space, in the association of direct associations, what you have before us. But it's the first letter also that expresses an unstable condition. So there is a change, a move, we have to change something. So it is unstable. Our position in space is unstable. That's why it is this point of first reference. And then the breaking point, it's breaking apart just in the same way, but seen from space. We also have that. It's a breaking point, and there we need to find the new E, or the new position. this breaking point is a breaking point first in the idea of, oops, I have to adapt something. I have to make some choices. I don't know what these choices are from my position of space. But with E, I have to learn it. I have to see what the response will be, so that E, the insertion towards the new adaptation, which basically is another K, if I like to, that, so that you get the word kick. Let's say you get it, you will give it a kick, it will break. But if you kick it, if you really see where you have to go to, you use that breaking idea. So this question mark, this you use it to find the new position. You have a counter effect. The counter effect will be focused upon the right thing, and you will feel it if you don't do that well. So we have to really go to the point of the new position, the force of adaptation towards the new position. And if you are right, you find a new position and you get to the new position and get to the effect that is needed. If you understand well what kind of effect is needed, you will break it in the way how you should break it and break free towards it. That's the key. The key we use as well. So then you have the key. So these were, of course, the local rules. You felt something is off and you need to adapt to something new. The E is always about something new that you want to adapt. And so you have to make a change to make it work so that you can repeat it. These were local rules. But what are the general rules that makes this situation that there is a change needed? And that's the next combination of letters. That's the she, and the S and the H are both also in the last category. So again, we go locally, now globally again. We are the global rules, the general rules, and its effects. What will cause this E, that we need it, that we need timing for it, that we need an adaptation process for it towards what is new. We have S. It's about effect. So what effect do we have? And the H is about workability. So what kind of effect and what kind of workability do we need to make this work? In the character of the Japanese, it will be about timing. So what kind of timing do we use or need globally to make this work? This is how I express it. The S and the H are also two letters, so you can remember it also by this dual position. And it's this estimation, actually. It's an estimation of S, the effect, and H, what it needs to work in space, to be vivid in space, that we will adapt to the. So it is as if you are there's changes around you, and we have to adapt towards the changes. Where is it? Where will we have an effect that is visible, that is viable? S effect, H a viable, sh that we have have that effect that is good for us, so that we can, we have that goal that we can apply E towards something. She will do that. The estimation of the effect in all of its changes. We'll go back to the local position. So we know that we have immediate concerns of our own. In A, we have that there. So if this is the space, what is really needed to locally? Even then, E are ideas that are repeatable. Which ideas can I apply immediately to what concerns me? So that is, of course, expressed with the letter T. The T is about position in space. Here we have it. It is in the first category. It's about space. It's localization in space. You see it thanks to the vertical. you know where to look at, so that you have a position in space, and then you can have it. So T, with just T and E, is a localized application in space. So in a way, that's what you can use locally, and you know immediately where you can place things and can repeat them if you like. But it is about, the Japanese script is about the need to find something that you can also repeat, and also deal with the changes that are during that repetition. So it's about the green part. So we are, with T alone, it's not enough. We have to have a position that we can repeat, that we can deal with it during the changes. The green part, so the Japanese script, is about changes, and it's about things that are a bit further away. And if we deal the T with changes as well, with a bit further away, to see like, if is this still needed, if it's also somewhere else a bit further away, when it's not close by. It's not just our own concern, but just imagine we are also responsible for larger areas. These needs are further away, they change a bit further, so we have to not just deal with the local things directly, but also with the indirect local things a bit indirectly, a bit further away, and that has to be expressed not with T, you can't do that, but of course with Chi. Chi is, this is a Japanese letter for it, and is about the T in E with an adaptation of its process on its way. So we have an adaptation, which I also express that what is this adaptation about. So when you have a place, when you have a displacement again, a displacement needs the idea of that the places are elsewhere, but by taking the steps towards elsewhere, you're not sure if you can take it from a stable position. You have to destabilize your position a little bit. It's not, the further the things are away from you, the more destabilized it is, the more adaptations are needed. That's physics. You have to adapt a little bit, and the further steps you have to take, the more you have to counterbalance as well. So this is the idea is that the further away things are, T, placement, the further the placements are, the further away in time or in space, the more you have to deal with the idea that the positions in space are unstable. You cannot be sure of stability at all. And that's one of the basics of E, is the adaptation process in a local space cannot be applied exactly to another space. You have to deal with the further distance it is, the more adaptations, flexibility also. You need more time to get to know where you are. That's the kind of things that is expressed by the vowel combination of chi. Chi. If I write it in Roman script, I need the C, which is which is in the first category. So the C is about trying to find a balance. The H is the balanced background, so how things are balanced and work in the background and work in that space, so that it keeps that balance there. So this will help you. So the T alone will not help you. T as sounds is only about positions. Chi is about adaptations of positions in space, so that it will work in space. That's how you have to describe the sh sound. And this is about the idea that there is a destabilization the further you are away, but you can adapt as long as it is as you can estimate it with C, and as long as it is you can keep it vivid with H the ch can know what to do within a controllable space. That's how you can recognize and understand the letter and letter meaning of these combinations. Okay, when do we know when something is needed, that there needs to be some adaptation whatsoever? That's expressed by ni. You have the n position in the Roman script, which is the letter from a second category. It is also about timings. The n is about finding a balance when you need a timing. You don't know when you need a timing, so there is a point where you have it and at a point where you don't have it. At some point you know, okay, at some point I will have it. That's the idea of the Roman script. And also know when to use something or when not to use something. It's already there in the vowels. Now, how do I understand the Japanese script? Also there, the idea is that when it is useful, then at some point we can use it. So the timing is involved, of course, because it's in every letter combination in the Japanese and Chinese script. There's timing involved. This is focus of perspective. We look at the needs, and that's the way how we look at it. We see if we can use it from point A to I. How do we sense it? Do we need it? And when do we need it? This is just actually one focus of application. So from 1 to 2, this is also the letter 2. So I will apply it when it is needed. How do I feel or sense it when it is needed? It's actually when these two balances and off balances are a bit imbalanced, and now you know when to take the step. That is when you feel when the need is there, the ni letter combination is there. And that's how I express it here, that in this way you can understand it. You can understand the Japanese script, and you can understand also how you have to understand the Roman letter and the position in time and space. You can remember it and understand it, what's happening, what is expressed in the letter combination of ni. So, but now globally again, so where do we know where the needs are? So what is the general place of the needs? So when is something needed to change? When is something needed that we keep that rolling, running, keep it in repetition? In the E sense, E is an idea that you keep running, you can keep on using. That's the E. So where do we know when it is needed, how it is needed? It's with the sound hi. The hi, the h, is the general. It's also about general, about the rules, or the rules in which something is vivid, like in the breath. It is backed by something that you say, oh, from here to here I can use it. That you can sense that. You can sense that there's oxygen there. It's there, but it's always there. The H in the third category, it's there, and it's there in the background. It's backed, as a matter of speaking. It's always there. So you don't have to look for it. It's there. You sense what is vivid and what is not vivid. In a way, you can also back off. You can back off from all situations. Don't have to change anything immediately. If it's working in the background, you can leave it in the background. He works on its own. You can back off if you like it. It's automatically achieved. All these things, the needs will show themselves. And what is, again, now we go locally. What do we locally get from it? What do we receive from it? It is expressed by me, the letter M. Where is the letter M? In the local space. In my theory, it's in the spatial area. It's the letter M, and the M is about extensions from the physical plane onwards. What kind of extensions do we get with me? Me is also an expression of if I looked it up, I saw something that is also about clothing that you get from it. So yeah, that is an extension physically that can be applied in that way as well. But you can express it a bit like this. So this is like the extensions that come forward from our local position, what our needs personally are, and can be extended to such a part that they even come to a new area. And if we sense that new area, we can sense it and can repeat something that is even applied to further away from us, or as an extension from us, we can apply it. Then we can use it. That's the part when we locally can use something in a different local situation. That's no problem for that. So then you can use me. Then me also in the English sense. And the last letter is ri. So, and then all this again, this is in the global sense again. So can we always achieve something, or when we will achieve it? So I showed you, yeah, when can we extend ourselves, but how far does this extension goes is expressed with ri. It's the last letter. The R is also about the last category. It's the category which really spans the region of everything, where, what, and which things we can connect. So it's then, again, you can have this vibration from our center to the outer center. So the E is vertical to the point where we want to apply it, and how far can we go. That's how far we can go. So the R is connecting itself to its outer borders. And you can understand the letter combination in the Japanese script this way as well. The old letter E, which is no longer used, but it's still interesting to see it. The ancient character looks like this. And also there you have this forward move and taking a step back. But it's more like an expression of it can be applied to all places, to all spaces in which we can use it as a work field. Actually, you can repeat it, but it has to be a work field. The square is always about a work field. The work field can change a bit of position, but as soon as you can insert this position somewhere, then also E can be applied somewhere, so that you have a general idea and can use it locally. And then with this expression, I had actually all the combinations with E, and the idea also about E. What do you use E for, and how do we apply it, and where do we apply it, and how much, and so on. It's all expressed in this video. I hope you enjoy this. You have a little bit more understanding of the letter E and how it can be combined, of its positions in the Roman script, and how it becomes meaningful, and also the forms of the Japanese script that expresses the same things. And so I hope these were useful, and also useful to remember maybe how to write it. Okay, thanks again. Bye.